Well, we projected all of the stats and predicted on every single offensive position minus pancakes for the offensive line. Now we are going to tackle who we think will be leading the stats on defense. Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. Here I am, joined with my brother, Josiah. I am Gabriel, as you can see. That's my name, and his name's shown right there. Okay, so this is our first live stream. We're using StreamYard if you want to sponsor our podcast. I don't think they sponsor podcasts, but anyways. But welcome in. Like I said at the beginning, we are going to do a little projection on these defensive players. We stopped and we thought we didn't know how to do it because it's easy to project. You know, like take your top 4 or 5 receivers and be like, "Hey, we think you're gonna have 400 yards." But at the same time, we didn't want to go through every single defensive player and be like, Cedric Gray's gonna have 29 and a half tackles. Like we didn't want to do that. It's like 1 sack and 2 PBs, you know, pass breakups. We didn't really want to do that. So we decided the way we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the top 3 people in tackles. We're not going to even put a number on it. We're going to say our 2 sack leaders, 2 INT leaders, but we will put numbers on the sacks and the ints. That's what we're going to do today. Welcome in. It's going to be a great video.
Yes, so let's get into it. And I think I feel good about my picks.
You feel good about them? Okay, gotcha. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into tackles and get that over with. Who do you project in this defense? This is the hardest one. Honestly, was the hardest one for me to do of everything we did today.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I've kind of hogged the camera.
Because usually linebackers is the people who's gonna get the most tackles. But to be honest, linebackers is kind of one of our weakest spots. I think Morley is gonna be the one who's gonna get the most snaps, even though he's not my favorite of the 3. I'll say that. But it was a little more difficult with this. But you start me start, and am I gonna name all 3, and then you name all 3, or how do you want to do that?
We'll go one at a time.
Okay.
But before we do get started, officially, I do want to agree with myself. Like the show, please. I just wanted to pull up a comment because I've never done it before. So, anyways, go ahead and hide that. All right, so the first one I have as the tackle leader. This is tough.
Is this number 1 or number 3 of the list?
Would you rather go 3 up? 3 up?
3 up. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, number 3, I actually put Jack Gibbens.
Okay.
And like we talked about off air, which I don't know why a lot of times we waste our juicy takes for before we actually hit start, and then we hit start, and then we've already said what's the actual juicy part. But as what I said is, it's hard to predict because I think Kenneth Murray is the weakest of our 3 starting linebackers. I think Cedric Gray and Jack Gibbens will both be better, but then Cedric Gray and Jack Gibbens are actually fighting for the same spot. So this is why it was so hard for me to actually project who this would be. But I put Jack Gibbens at number 3 because I think he'll start at least the first half of the season before Cedric Gray actually replaces him.
Good pick. But I have Amani Hooker is who I have number 3. Again, I think. Well, I'll explain a little bit later with the next pick, but I'm gonna go with number 3, Amani Hooker.
Okay. All right. For me, I actually have number 2 as Kenneth Murray. Do I think he's great? I really don't. But I do think he's just straight up a starter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Number 2 for me, I have Cedric Gray. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say somewhere in the season he's going to get to play, and I think he might play well. And now it depends on how our coach handles this, because Mike Vrabel doesn't put any rookies on the field ever. And then so if we had Mike Vrabel, then I wouldn't say this, but I'm going to say Cedric Gray is going to actually play a good bit. He's going to rack up tackles, and he's going to be number 2.
I hope you're right. We'll see. Because we don't know how Denard Wilson or how Brian Callahan are when it comes to letting rookies actually play. because I agree with you. I just have a bad feeling. Apparently, like people saying how improved Jack Gibbons look and how Jack Gibbons is such a leader and Jack Gibbons might be the green dot wearer. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
I just feel like
no.
physically he's so limited. Like he could have everything up here, but I feel like he's just so limited as an athlete. But that's why, if I'm being 100% honest with you, Cedric Gray didn't make the top 3. So my next one, did I say my next one?
You did your first 2.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray. I wanted to put him in because I do think he's just straight up the starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I guess I'll go ahead and.
Sorry, my number 1 is Kenneth Murray as well. It's funny, I don't think he's all that great, but being a linebacker, and I think unless he gets hurt, he's going to play throughout the season. So he's just going to have the most opportunity to get the most tackles for our team.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, either way, I don't have him number 1. He was my number 2. It was Jack Gibbons, Kenneth Murray. I actually have Amani Hooker as our number 1. That's honestly who I think. That's why I thought it was.
Okay, so you have Amani Hooker. Okay. See, when I said Amani Hooker at number 3, I thought I must have misread your look. You gave me a face like, ew, why is he on your top 3? And you got number 1. Okay.
No, I just made the face because you cut me off and started talking. But I forgive you. So yeah, I actually have Kenneth Murray as my number 2, with Amani Hooker going number 1, which is weird, choosing a safety to be your leader in tackles. But again, I really do think Kenneth Murray's not amazing, and I think the other 2 starting linebackers are going to like fight over.
Yeah.
A lot of times, cornerbacks, you don't want cornerbacks to have a lot of tackles because a lot of times mean they allowed a bunch of catches.
Yeah,
so that's why. Now maybe it's just me having faith in our corners, but I didn't put them in there. And then it's just hard as like a defensive lineman, or something like that to actually lead your team and tackle. So that's why I went the way I did. So, anything else you want to say about that before we move on out of here?
Nope, I think we covered it pretty good.
Okay, all right. That being the case, the next thing is we'll go ahead and go sacks. Top 2 sack players. Who do you think is our second sack leader, and how many is he going to have?
I got Jeffrey Simmons with 8.5.
I don't know why, but that guy completely. What a terrible person I turned out to be. I don't know why I don't know why I completely forgot Big Jeff. That is stupid. How many did you say?
8.5.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know why, but I feel good about that. Like 8.5. That sounds good about it for him.
I think that might be his record too. I think he's had like 8 or 8.5 before, but never double digit. Which I think he needs to be double digits as much as he's making.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. So for me, I also have Simmons. Originally, I had Arden Key at 7, and I don't know why. Just Simmons just completely slipped my mind. I put him at 8. I thought about being, aggressive and throwing him at 9, but he's never done it.
It's really how 1 sack makes a difference. 9 sounds pretty good, and then 7 sounds but
yeah. So I put him at 8. We'll put Big Jeff at 8 with our number 2 in sacks. Would love to see him break double digits for the first time because again, he's making a lot of money for never making 10 sacks. All right, moving on. Number 1, I bet you we're gonna have the same person. I have Harold Landry with 13.
I got Harold Landry with 11.
Okay, gotcha.
I think the number of what he gets is in question, but I think there's not a person out there who doesn't think he'll be our sack leader.
No, edge rushers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Edge rushers, their job is just sack the quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, Harold Landry is not there to get picks or get tackles or anything like that. His job is one thing only, so that's get sacks. And if he doesn't do that, then he has a bad season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that's his number 1 thing what he's paid for is to get after that quarterback.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. And we pay him semi-handsomely.
Yeah.
I think he's got a cap of like 20-something million. But average annual value, I think it was only like 16 or 17 in the actual contract. But, a lot of times the big numbers and it comes down numbers or just whatever, depending on how they lay out the contract. But anyways, so that's the same people, slightly different. I think he's going to be 13 because 11 is what he was. Or he was 10 last year. His record was 12. His last full healthy season, he had 12. And he really came on once he started feeling himself again. So that's why I think he might get a record. Plus, he's got cornerbacks that kind of hold up a little bit longer on the back end.
Yeah.
Give him an extra second or 2 to get home. So, all right, moving on. We'll go ahead and head on to the INTS interceptions. Who's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm going to get Snead. Is that his name?
Mhm.
So I was drawing a play.
L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, well, I got him with 3 picks. My bad.
You said 3.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly almost had him as my number 2 with 3 as well, because a lot of times he don't get a lot of picks because people don't want to throw it his
Yeah,
way. It's a good thing.
That's what my thought process was.
But then I felt goofy saying my number 2 pick guy would only get 3, so I upped it to 4, even though 3 is what my heart really tells me. But I also have Sneed with 4.
Okay.
And then number 1, I'm sure we have the same person.
I got a Awuzie, or however you want to pronounce his name.
Chidobe Awuzie, yeah.
I actually got him at number 4, even though obviously I don't think he's anywhere as good as Sneed. The ball is going to be thrown his direction more often. And, so I think maybe he'll have an opportunity to get more picks. And so I'm going to say 4 for him.
Interesting. So my top person didn't even make your list. I got Amani Hooker because Amani Hooker, I honestly think he's a better free safety than strong safety. But with Byard played more free safety, making him have to play in the box more as a strong safety. I think with Elijah Molden / Jamal Adams, whoever ends up starting over there, unless we add somebody else. Yeah, I agree. Unless we add somebody else, I think they're going to be playing strong safety and be in the box. And I think Hooker's going to go with what he's best at, which is as a free safety roaming that field. I have him at 6. I think Amani Hooker's going to lead our team with 6 interceptions, and we'll be happy. We'll be happy with what he turns out.
That would be nice. Yeah, I would say I'll be happy if he got that. Yeah, so 6. It's been a long time since we had a Titan play with 6 sacks, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think interceptions. I think the last time we had that would have been Byard back in 2017 when he had 8, I believe.
I would say this. I am looking for this defense to get more picks than we have been, because we've been so bad in that category. So bad. Now, we could give up the deep ball maybe more with this aggressive style that, our new DC has been talking about having. But I think with the aggressive, you take shots, you're going to pick it or allow the big one. So both is going to come our way. Like it or love it.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, I don't know if it was Vrabel or if it was Shane Bowen, but the 10 to 12 to 15 yards off the wide receiver, how are you supposed to ever get an interception? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we was the ultimate bend but not break defenses. We just every drive, like, we will give you a field goal if you want it. You know what I mean?
It's almost like the only reason we stopped playing 12 yards off is because they were within the 12 yard line of the end zone.
Yeah.
So we had no choice but to actually be closer. I'm sure they hated that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's Shane Bowen. I don't know if that was Mike Vrabel. Regardless, they're both gone. I think Denard Wilson, for better or for worse, I think he's going to be extremely aggressive. So we might allow more X plays, as they call them. We might allow just big, fat touchdowns for no reason. But I also predict there will be more turnovers, which I hope. That, again, I don't know if it's Vrabel or Bowen, whoever you want to blame it on. Our defense just did not get turnovers.
Nope.
Or honestly, sacks either. Like, we just have a defense that just, we let them go down the field, and then we hold them, and they kick a field goal, or they just get touchdown. And that's just what our defense has been.
I expect our defense to be a lot different. A lot more picks, a lot more sacks, but a lot more deep touchdowns on us. So it's going to be good and bad, but I expect us to be different.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Go ahead.
Well, I would say it's exciting to, because all the stuff we're talking about, we think, and, but soon training camps going to start, preseason starts, so we'll get a slight glimpse of what they're doing. Obviously, it won't be exactly the same as game day, but we'll get a little more of a insight of what's happening, how we're going to call stuff, formations and stuff.
Yeah, but we'll get a little taste of it in the preseason, but especially with offense, as you know, they're super, super bread and butter.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be overly exciting or anything like that. But defense, I don't think we're going to throw a bunch of stunts and things like that, but I think we'll get to see some man-to-man.
Yeah.
As opposed to just I don't know what Shane Bowen was calling. And I don't know if that was a Shane Bowen thing or if it's I don't trust my corners at all thing.
Yeah, that's possible.
Either one's understandable. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The video ended up a lot shorter than I wanted to because we're only been live for 14 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else. Now, here's something. I guess it's something we can kind of discuss, because it is about the defense. Because I don't see us making a video about this. What do you think the ceiling and the floor is for this defense? Assume nobody else gets added, because Rain Carthon said we wanted to add veterans to the edge, and we wanted to add veterans to the safety room. Hopefully, we're not done. But Jamal Adams did get added to the safety room. Nothing's been added to the edge. So it's possible we do add to the edge, and then I'm sure you saw the Paul Kaharski tweet. It was a tweet, but that's not the word I was looking for. Report. There you go. I don't know. I couldn't think of the word report. But anyways, there's a Paul Kaharski report that they may not actually be done adding, and they've had contact with both Justin Simmons and Quandre Diggs. Either one of them will be a huge improvement over Elijah Molden / Jamal Adams. So things could change, but if that doesn't, if this is the defense we end up walking into the season with, what do you think's the ceiling? What do you think's the floor?
Start with the Titans.
Yeah, for the Titans defense. So let's get the floor out of the way first. Like, what is the worst you could see our defense ranking out of the 32 defenses?
I'm gonna say we'll be 25. I think now this is obviously if we don't have injuries, but our cornerbacks are too good, especially in the passing league. I think to make us much worse than that. But we have a new defensive coordinator. How aggressive he's going to be? Is he going to be too aggressive? So to be honest, I don't like our linebackers. So I have a lot of question marks about this defense, but I don't think we're going to be much worse than. Yeah, I don't see us going 25. I could go even like 22nd or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say about 22nd. And it sounds stupid. Let me try to paint a picture for you. I feel like if you look at our defense, there's our defensive line, we got our linebackers, safeties, and corners are out wide. If you go to the outside, I love it. The edge rushers, mine's key. But the edge rushers to the corners to the one safety, the deep safety, I like all that. Everything in the middle there, just behind Jeff Simmons and maybe T'Vondre Sweat. Depends on if he's actually on our team or not. So we've only seen him one day. But anyways, besides maybe those, but I'm thinking if you think about our linebackers, our box safety, like all that just worries me a bit. And our defensive line depth behind like Sebastian Joseph Day and Simmons and Sweat. So if they do need time, not good at all. But yeah, I agree with those corners that we have. And with Hooker, I think 22nd would be the floor. Just the absolute worst. Caleb, I'm sorry, my son's making weird noises over there. I can hear you. Sorry about that. Now let's talk about the ceiling, which you could see best of the best of the best.
I'm gonna say something like 11 or 12. And that's because I have just too many question marks with the linebacker. I think teams might be able to run on us, which I know is not a running league anymore, but it is going to be annoying, if people can get 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards to pop on us. Because last year, and maybe you could say he wasn't 100%, I don't know, but last year, Jeffrey Simmons wasn't as good at stopping the run as I would like him to be. And I don't know if this year will be any different. So I think our pass rushing is a little weak to think will be a top 10 defense because you need that. And as of right now, I don't like Jamal Adams or Molden. So I just, honestly, at best, I'm going to say 12. I just talked myself into 12.
I hate to agree with you kind of almost again, but 12. I'm going to say 12 as well. And I think it could be top 10 if we added Justin Simmons. Because in my opinion, you have Amani Hooker, Justin Simmons as your safeties, and you got Chidobe Awuzie, you got L'Jarius Sneed, you got Roger McCreary. That's your secondary. That's a no-fly zone. That's a no-fly zone. So you about have to try to beat us with the run. But at the same time, how are you going to run up the scoreboard by trying to beat the Titans with the run game? You know what I'm trying to say? And this is a passing league. So if we had that kind of folk in the secondary, I think that could give us top 10 defense. But again, we don't. I still feel like Arden Key's situational. He's not an every down pass rusher. So with that, I just feel like 12, which I'd be okay with the top 12 defense.
Yeah, me too.
But But yeah, that's just me.
You know, I said 12 to 22. But I could see us being more 15, 16. That's what I can see. Which is, again,
Yeah.
it's not terrible, but
I mean, yeah, if we have a league average defense and if our offense, if Will Levis does show that he's something and we have, you know, like a top 13 offense, that's a good team. 15 defense, 13 offense, I'll take it. It's like a good way to win some ball games. That being said, that's all that I have. Is there anything you want to add to it before we get out of here?
no, I think that covers it. Hey, sorry.
Apparently, I'm keeping
I'm an
you
old
up.
man.
I'd say it's only 8:30, so shouldn't be too sleepy. But that being said, I guess we are good. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you like the new format that we had going on here, the live stream, different program we use, and everything else. Make sure you let us know in the comments below. And yeah, I guess that's all we got. So peace out and all of that jazz.